to another episode of Lessons in Leadership. Today we are going to be talking about time management. If you guys don't know, my name is Selena Easter. I'm the Director of Training and Leadership Development for Excel Fitness. Time management affects so many different aspects of our life, from our personal life to our professional life. It can really make or break your success. It affects how productive you are each day, how efficient, how quickly you can turn around work, which is really important, obviously, how you're meeting your goals, how quickly you're meeting your goals. There's so many different benefits to understanding how to best manage your time. So I'm gonna give you guys 10 tips on how to do that better. All right, so tip number 1 is to wake up early. I can't emphasize this enough, but getting a head start of your day is basically setting your whole day up for success. If you wake up late, if you're rolling out of bed late, you're rushing already from the start, so you already are waking up with stress. And then you're having to meet the demands of others, meet the demands of the day, versus if you're waking up first, you're able to manage your time, your day, you're able to plan ahead. You want to be proactive instead of reactive to your day, and you want to be able to create white space in your schedule. So if you wake up early, that gives you just more hours in your day that you're able to get tasks done. So a lot of times I'll wake up early to make sure I can get maybe errands done, or I want to work out in the morning. I have all that free time that I had planned to use that later in the day. I have that as free time now. So I call that white space. So I'm creating more free time throughout the day. Life is incredibly unpredictable. We don't know what each day will bring. A lot of unexpected things can happen. So the more that you can get ahead of your day, create that white space, the more you're gonna be able to be more productive. So tip number 2 is to plan ahead. This means knowing your day, knowing your week, knowing your month, knowing your year ahead of time, and then to check often. If we don't know what's on our schedule or what's to come, how can we adequately plan out our days or manage our time and our tasks if we don't really know what's even going on? So it starts with basic awareness, and then, like I said, checking often. There's things that can be added to our schedule, taken away. If we don't know what's to come, how can we plan? And that's just gonna add added stress. Even if it's in the back of your mind, it's still stress on you because you don't know what's coming. You don't know if you're prepared or not. You want to be prepared. If you want to be successful, you have to know, you have to have a game plan and know what's to come so that you can plan accordingly. Tip number 3 is to get organized and stay organized. There's no way that you can manage your time adequately, efficiently, effectively if you are not organized. A lot of times things get added to our to-do list, but if we're not writing them down, if we're not checking them off, if we're not adding stuff to our calendars, we are going to feel stress, we're going to feel anxiety, we're going to forget items because there's just so much going on. The world we live in today moves very quickly, it's chaotic sometimes. So again, once more, it's about controlling the controllables. I'm really big on setting reminders, alerts, even when I use time blocking. So I organize my day. If I have a particular task I need to work on, I'll create a time block and say from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. I'm just gonna work on this one task, and I'll actually have an alarm on my phone that will go off. So it's like I know that I can either take a break, go to the next task, but just even organizing my hours throughout the day, creating those time blocks really helps me to stay efficient with my time. All right, so tip number 4 is to prioritize your task. So say you have 10 tasks set for the day, you want to understand which of those 10 is the most important task to get done. And typically speaking, it's usually something you don't want to do, or that's a lot of times that's in my case. I really need to do something, but I typically don't want to do it, or I hate to do it. I've just trained myself to do the thing that I don't want to do, or what's most important for the day, to do it first, get it out of the way, even if you don't want to do it, because that's what's causing you the most stress, the most anxiety. That's what's causing you to procrastinate and put things off. And when you procrastinate, all you're doing is building up your to-do list, building up your stress, building up your anxiety. So train yourself to just get it done. Like, don't think about it, just do, get it done, prioritize your day. That's going to really help you manage your time more efficiently. So tip number 5 is to do it immediately. What does this mean? If a task takes less than 5 minutes, do it immediately. It's very easy to get distracted, to put it off because we're like, oh, that's too easy, it's too simple, or it'll just take a second. But instead, we need to train ourselves to do it immediately, because once more, the more that we procrastinate, put off tasks, it's gonna add to our to-do list. It's taking away that white space that we discussed earlier, and it's essentially adding stress, anxiety, and taking away our ability to optimize our day. Tip number 6 is to self-motivate. So say you have a to-do list, maybe you tend to procrastinate, you put things off, or maybe you're not that organized. I myself, what I do to self-motivate is it's a do or die mentality. I either get it done or I die is kind of the thinking. And really what's behind that is I don't leave until the job's done. So whether you're at the club, if you work in the back office, it doesn't matter. If you create that pressure on yourself to get the job done before you can leave, that's gonna motivate you throughout your day to stay focused, to stay on task, to mark things off your to-do list. Because for me, I wanna leave on time every day, so that pushes me, that motivates me to clear my to-do list. And that's also created a sort of OCD process with my to-do list. If I have a set list of things that I have to accomplish before I can leave for the day, I am doing everything in my power to get that list completed so that I can clock out for the day. Tip number 7 is to manage your distractions. Like I mentioned earlier, life is full of unexpected demands, situations, circumstances. Knowing that, just get ahead of it by managing your distractions, whether it's members gonna distract you at the club, maybe incidents are gonna happen, machines are gonna break. If you're in the back office, people are gonna stop by your office unexpectedly, you're gonna get unexpected phone calls. Maybe your girlfriend's texting you throughout the day and you're trying to text her back. It's all about managing your distractions, managing the expectations of others. Oftentimes in my situation, I know people are gonna stop by my office, so I'll just be like, hey, really positive, happy to see them, but also let it know I have a ton to do today. I should be done by this time. I can touch base with you after. So you can still be nice, but also a lot of it's just managing expectations versus like, get out of my office, or I don't want to see you, or it's all about how you're managing those distractions that can make or break it. It's not that some people have more distractions than others. It's just how you're reacting to them, how you're planning for them, how you're able to be more effective, even with the distractions that happen in day-to-day life. So tip number 8 is to assess your day. What does that mean? At the end of each day, just take a mental count, maybe even write it down, a physical count of how productive you are. How did you manage your distractions? Did you let your day control you? Did you wake up in time? Did you wake up early? Were you kind of having to react throughout your day? So just taking an assessment of how well you manage your time, and then setting goals for yourself for the next day of what you want to do differently or better. And maybe it's utilizing some of these tips to better and more effectively manage your time. So assess your day, recalibrate where needed so that you can be more successful in how you're managing your day-to-day tasks. All right, so tip number 9 is to work smarter, not harder. I am a firm believer in working hard, but when it comes to managing your time, sometimes it's just an awareness of how you can make your hours work better for you. And a lot of it is working smarter, not harder in some cases. So what do I mean by that? Sometimes it means being more efficient. Sometimes it means lean processes. Sometimes it means delegating to others, being resourceful, learning to do a lot more with less. So maybe your resources are time or people or finances. Maybe you don't have a ton of money. So sometimes you have to get creative of how can I make the most impact with the least resources that I have in hand. And a lot of it's just creating time for you to think and strategize of how you can work smarter versus harder. All right, and last but not least, tip number 10, remember that time is money. There is a reason that this saying was popularized. There's a reason that a lot of successful people use the saying, is because they understand that time is money. So every second, every time you have free moments, think of how you could be using them better or differently. I try never to let myself just sit or rest. If I have a gap, or if say I'm supposed to meet someone and they're late, I'm like, what can I do in this 5-10 minutes to create or optimize that time gap, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes, whether it's to read, if I have to read for something, to study for something, if I have to strategize, come up with ideas. There's things that you can use that 5 to 10 minutes for so that it doesn't go to waste, because understand that every second it is money. And if you're not using that time towards your goals, whatever those are, you're letting money go down the drain essentially. So just remember, every moment is valuable. So make sure you're utilizing your time wisely. If you find yourself playing on social media a lot, like ask yourself, how is that actually helping me towards my goals? Yes or no, and kind of, use the decision tree from there if that makes the most sense for you to do that. If you're spending a lot of time on Netflix, again, ask yourself, how is this actually working towards my goals? Maybe your goal is to rest more, so that makes sense for you. But most of the time, we can really take an assessment of how we're utilizing your day and really do better. All right, so those are the top 10 tips I have for you guys to better optimize your time, your day. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found the tips very useful. If you have any special tips that you utilize that were not included on this list, I'd love to hear about them, so be sure to let me know. I thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see y'all later.